Hello, my name is Arpi Vartanian. I'm the Regional Director of the Armenian Assembly of America, and I'm sitting here today with Chris Tusan from California, who is one of our 2019 Summer Internship Program in Armenia interns. And we're going to talk with him so you get a chance to get to better know him. Hello, Chris.
Hello there.
You've been here for a couple of months, and you've been working at YerevanRide. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you for a second, or for a minute. You know, we're going to talk about who you are, where you're from, and what you study and are going to study. So tell us, what would you like us to know?
Okay, so I graduated from college actually. I graduated from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where I studied, where I got my bachelor's in chemistry and a minor in music.
I love that combination. It's fantastic.
Thank you. And in the fall, I will be starting my MBA.
Okay, which kind of ties into what you're doing this summer here, working with YerevanRide. I don't know if a lot of our viewers yet know about YerevanRide, so maybe you can fill us in a little bit about the really cool work that YerevanRide has been doing this summer. You just enjoyed a launch of your program. Tell us about it.
Okay, well, circling pretty far back, I mean, if you look around, you'll notice that in cities worldwide, multiple cities worldwide are implementing new bike sharing programs, sort of to help curb carbon emissions and get rid of gridlock from cars. And seeing that as a growing problem in Armenia, the co-founders, Alex Bagjan and Albert Manukyan, have taken it upon themselves to launch a company similar to this. And they've brought me and several others aboard to help make this bike sharing company a reality.
So, I don't have a bike, but I can rent one from YerevanRide for a day or a month or a week or however long I'd like?
That's correct. So, much like some other bike sharing programs, the whole thing is operated through an app. When you first pull up the app, there will be a map that shows all the bikes that you could rent throughout the city. And using your camera, or more your QR code scanner, you can rent one of these bikes for yourself. Of course, you would need to get a membership of sorts. For example, if you wish to get a day pass or a 3-day pass, there are also month and year options, but let's stick with a day pass. With a day pass, you pay 1,000 dram, and you can use as many 45-minute rides as you want for a full 24 hours.
It sounds like a super option. I want to just point out here, because I don't know, I'm not sure if I heard it or not, what color are the bikes that YerevanRide uses?
Yes. So the YerevanRide bikes are green colored. And this distinction is important because although we have launched recently with a fleet of about 100 to 200 bikes, there is another company here that advertises yellow bikes for bike sharing.
Okay.
But ours are green.
Okay, and that's eco-friendly, so don't forget that, viewers, when you want to ride a bike. Okay, so part of the internship program, it's a 3-part program, as you know, and part of it is doing the internship, as you are doing, so you're getting international work experience. And a little while ago, you were telling me about how this is going to tie in really nicely with your upcoming MBA studies.
Oh, that's correct. In the past, I've worked with startups, but most specifically, I've worked with biotech startups, and they've already been established and have had a few years to work out a lot of the kinks in their business and their product. But here is a new unique experience because YerevanRide, when I first came, technically did not exist yet. So it was sort of my duty, along with everyone involved, to basically prepare to launch this company and to put it on the map in as grandiose a manner as possible.
I love that, because you're going to be studying the theory of things starting in August or September, But now you get to be actually doing the real hands-on work, and you'll have a better idea of what it means to start up a business, especially in a foreign country.
Well, that's quite correct. Yeah.
Okay, so part of the internship is, the actual internship, getting that international work experience, which sounds like you're really enjoying. I have one more side question about your internship. Maybe you can share this with us if you have any idea about how many miles or kilometers do you think you've biked this summer, because you've been going from point A to point B to point Z to point M and all over Armenia, all over Yerevan actually, getting this project underway.
Well, according to my Fitbit, I definitely get at least my 10,000 steps every day.
Excellent.
But if we're going to talk just bikes, because walking is also a big contributing factor to how much I've traveled in here, I would actually put my mileage at over 100.
Wow.
And
wow.
for bikes, that would, on a really good day, I would bike/walk 15 miles.
Wow. That's impressive. That's really impressive. Okay, so the other two parts of the internship program are traveling around and seeing sites in Armenia and Artsakh, and also meeting with interesting leaders in the community, be government officials or leaders of civil society. What are some of the other things that stood out in your summer that made an impression on you that you thought were really cool things that you hadn't done before, perhaps?
Well, this isn't my first time in Armenia. I was here 3 years ago in 2016, before the whole revolution happened. But yet here, you definitely notice a difference between the people then and now. There's definitely people here seem to be a lot happier, and of course, Lake Sevan takes my breath away both times.
Mm-hmm.
Both times it did, and it was actually very enlightening getting to meet the Minister of Diaspora Affairs.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct?
High Commissioner.
High
Changed the
Commissioner.
name. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
That's okay.
But-
Everyone's getting used to the new name.
Yeah, because he let me know that, perhaps it would kind of make me more worldly to have a dual citizenship, both in Armenia and the United States.
Yeah.
But also that there are definitely lots of jobs in Armenia, in the government, that they want to have diasporans like myself fill.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I want all of our viewers to know about that. That's excellent. So in the last few days, you've also been really busy. I know you're going to be leaving soon because the program is winding up and you need to get back to prepare for your MBA program. So what are the things that you think you're going to miss until your next return visit to Armenia?
Well, I am not. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm gonna miss just having a bike somewhere where I can just rent it and then get around faster than walking, because there's nothing like a bike to make you just really hate your legs for how little distance they take you.
And is there not a similar program where you live?
In San Luis Obispo, there is not. You usually have to bring your own bike, and it's a very car-centric town.
Oh, I see.
It's
Okay.
also supposed to be sort of like this small town vibe about it, so it's actually small enough where you could walk most places anyway.
Well, it's also something to consider that maybe you want to start a branch of YerevanRide in San Luis Obispo.
Well, that's an idea.
Okay.
Well, I guess it wouldn't, but then it wouldn't be called YerevanRide anymore.
That's up to you. I'll leave that to you and the co-founders to decide how you might want to do that. But why not start something similar? You've got the experience and you've got the drive, it sounds like. So that could be kind of cool.
Definitely.
So let me ask you one more question, or perhaps one more. I think you've enjoyed your internship and your summer here in Armenia.
Definitely.
Okay. Would you recommend to others that they do an internship in Armenia? And why? And what would you recommend to them?
Yes, I would highly recommend doing an internship here. and especially because I haven't lived in a foreign country by myself ever until this summer, and it's a pretty steep learning curve, but you really appreciate that learning curve.
Yeah.
Especially, and if you're going to come here, I would highly recommend, brushing up on Eastern Armenian and taking lessons here, because even though very commonly people do speak English here, it's also very helpful to just know Armenian, because as many people as you think may speak English, it may also be that not as many people speak English as would be comfortable.
Right. And for all of our viewers, I want to point out that Chris has been very, very, very good at studying Armenian. He's got classes, I'm not sure if it's every day, but several times a week.
It is every day.
It is every day. Good for you. And he goes to these classes, and he is very conscientious about them, and he is learning. I have heard him speak and say certain phrases or be able to respond to people. And Armenian is not an easy language, so hats off to you and bravo for doing that, because that's not easy to do. I hope you are able to continue that somehow when you go back home, so that when you come back, you can just build on that again when you get here.
That's true. I mean, I hope my Armenian teacher lets me take my workbook home, because that would be very helpful for me to have.
Absolutely. We'll have to advocate to her to allow you to do that, to get you to practice on that. Okay, is there anything that you would recommend to future interns as they prepare to, say, apply for this program? And what would they, aside from learning a little bit of the language, what else would you recommend that people do in preparation for moving to a foreign country? It's Armenia, it's our country, but it's still perhaps a foreign country, especially if they've never been here before. And sometimes I find that people who have been here with family before, when they find themselves living here alone for the first time, it is kind of a wake-up call. What would you recommend to folks who are considering the program?
I would definitely recommend I would assume if you intend to go through this internship program, you have a lot of Armenian friends, and I would definitely sort of mine those connections and see if they have friends of friends or any sort of that sort in Armenia, so you can have a social network when you get there.
Excellent. That's excellent advice.
So at least you'll have people who are less lonely. You will be less lonely because there will be other people there, and plus they will have knowledge of the area, so they know all the best places to eat, all the best soccer games to attend.
Oh, have you been to soccer?
Or should I say football?
Have you been to football games here?
I have been to one. This year, the UEFA Under-19 championships were held here, and I got to see the Armenia versus Spain game.
Cool. Okay, we're going to be signing off in a moment. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I would also just keep a running list of food places that you wish to try, and that way, if you keep that running list, it'll be something to do in your off time in the country, and even if you don't complete that list by the end of the summer, it gives you reason to come back and keep going through that list.
It's an ongoing bucket list. That's a great piece of advice for not just food and restaurants, but everything, I think, here. Because in one summer, in 1 year, in a decade, in a lifetime, you still can't see everything here and experience everything here, because it's constantly changing and evolving. And so I'm sure you've noticed all the new things since 2016 when you were last here. But I can promise you that it's constantly changing with new things and new things to do, new places to go, new places to visit. So that bucket list can just grow and grow and grow and grow. So thank you for that advice. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Okay, signing off.
All right.
So
Bye.
long. Thank you.